Women's Basketball World Cup. Japan and Canada will try and get the bronze medal and their first ever medal at this age group on a world stage. There's a very strong contingent of Canadian fans in the arena, looking to pick their team up after what was a disappointing performance in the semi-final yesterday. Here's the schedule for the last two games of the Under-19 Women's Basketball Cup. The third place game, Japan, Canada, and then with a repeat of the final from 2 years ago, the USA and Russia will face each other at 2100, 9 o'clock local time, to be crowned the champion of the world. Our team's just going to the benches with me for both the bronze and gold medal games is Shona Thorburn, the former Canadian national team player. And obviously, Shona, you've got some vested interest, should we say, but we were so positive about Japan's performance yesterday that I think this could be a classic game. Japan have never beaten Canada, but and obviously the Canadians are going to try and bounce back after their poor semi-final.
Yeah, I think as far as a mental side of the game goes, Japan has the edge right now. They gave a good game to the U.S. You know, they came back, they had that strong fourth quarter, and honestly, the game against the U.S., even when the U.S. were up, you know, double digits, it felt a lot closer. So they have to be feeling good going into this game, whereas Canada, they struggled yesterday. I mean, struggle is a soft word. They just, nothing was going right for them offensively, defensively, and you saw them. Their heads were down. They couldn't figure out what went wrong. Credit to a great Russian team who just, I think, played one of the best games that I've seen in this entire tournament. So you have to see now, you know, are Canada tough enough to respond and get over that mental disappointment of yesterday?
Well, it's one of those days, isn't it? Just leave it behind you. You can't bring it back. You can't do anything with it. And what you've still got is a chance to do something no Canadian team has ever done. So if that can't pick you up, I don't know what can.
Yeah, you know, exactly, and that's what you're thinking about. Both these teams are going to be tired. They're going to be fatigued because it's at the end of the tournament. And like you said before the game started, but guys, there's 40 minutes left. How much more do we need to give you? This is for a medal. This is to make history. You get over that fatigue. You let everything else just take over. So, you know, I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a close game. They're two different styles of play. You know, so I'm not sure whose advantages that's going to be.
Well, we'll be back to talk about it more after the two national anthems, and we'll start with the national anthem of Canada. And now the national anthem of Japan. Well, a medal game is important in anyone's career. You never know how many opportunities you're ever going to get to play for a world championship medal. So these players are on the verge of something that they may never repeat. It's definitely going to be the biggest game of their careers so far. And they've exchanged those mementos. As you see, Coach Clark for Canada, who's done a great job, done something that no other Canadian coach has done and got her team to this stage. Here's the third team on the floor, the three officials, Gina Cross, Johan Rosso and Ryan Jones from the USA, France and New Zealand respectively. And they have been rewarded with an appointment to this game for some tremendous performances throughout this championship. Going to get a look at the Canadian roster shown here, and it's we said yesterday that it's a team, and they've got a lot of depth, and a lot of people just didn't show up yesterday.
Yeah, you know, you look at the roster there, and everyone can play at any time, but honestly, no one could get going. You know, we talked about Koenig. She's the player who had 10 threes in one game at this tournament already. She has a record. She's in the record books or something, and she didn't have a clean look yesterday. You know, so you expect her to kind of step up and lead this team, and she is one of the only players with some NCAA experience under her belt. I thought Pellington waited until the last minutes to actually get going. You know, Haley Brown, we saw some nice moves from her in the first quarter and then sort of disappeared, and that's just the way it was going.
Well, the roster for Japan with Coach Hasegawa, same thing, isn't it? It's a group of 12 players that on any given day, coach looks at different combinations, and they were just so good in the second half yesterday. They
really were, and you have to give credit to Sasaka, sorry, who she had 2 points at halftime, and she came out and took over for them, ended up with 16 yesterday. You know, we saw Mawuli, who has been their most efficient player for them. She looked fatigued yesterday. She really did. You know, she started strong. She was aggressive against the U.S., and then you saw her get tired, and she didn't play much in that second half. So I expect her to be maybe a little bit more refreshed, and like you said, this is for a medal. You don't need any more motivation other than that hardware at the end of the game.
Well, neither of these teams have medaled at this level at all in the history of this competition. They've played each other on a number of occasions, and Canada has won on every single occasion, and normally has managed to control the glass, and I think that's an area where they're going to look to exploit an advantage. But in the same way, this Japanese team normally gets out and comes up with steals, so those two teams, those things will balance themselves out. So really, it's a tough one to call.
Yeah, it really is. You know, Canada has the edge on offensive rebounding as well, so you're giving yourself second chance points. But Japan are great at getting out, you know, transition points. They have a lot more. They have a lot more point scoring from the bench, which is something that can, you know, come back and really give you a boost. And I mean, we saw a Japanese team have 25 assists yesterday in a loss. So everyone can score, let's put it that way. And they share the ball so well.
Well, wherever you're watching this and joining us in Udine, this is the bronze medal game in the Under-19 World Cup. Canada in the red uniform and Japan in the white. Contrasting styles, contrasting fortunes, but only one team is going to go away with the medal. And Canada will get a first look at it in the half court. Pennington will get things moving. Brown will step outside the three-point, trying to stretch, look inside. Hall, who was 0 from the field yesterday. She's too good a player to have two nights like that. Pennington on a penetration step back is no good. And that'll be chased down. And Tsubuya will get it into the half court. A hard show on the ball screen. Mawuli spins, has it knocked away, will belong to Japan on the end line. Interesting penetration. Looked to be aggressive, looked to take it down the lane, was already looking, and maybe it was ball, maybe it was arm. Japan have it. Out of bounds play, the two is no good. Defensive rebound will find itself in the hands of Jerome. Koenig off the high screen in transition, takes a look. Brown, who will extend again. They're still going high-low. Amuli does a marvelous job defensively. Canada trying to milk that inside advantage.
And that is something that they need to explore if they want to win this game.
Sebuya off the high screen. Mid-range jump shot is sweet. Umezawa from the high post, and in some ways you don't mind her taking that shot, but she looked pretty sweet on that quick release.
She did, and you saw Canada, the post players kind of did a switch to switch because of the step out there, and they had to, and that's what you sort of give up. And Japan are not going to hesitate shooting the ball around the free throw line.
Well, Japanese defense in the passing lanes generates the turnover. Malui outside the three, little crossover. He's going to spin back to the middle. Again, it's knocked away, but stays with the plate. Ziwawa has it knocked away. Quick hands, and Pennington's off to the races. Watch out. Goes quick, goes strong, gets the two. That's a great sign for Pennington, really confident in that drive.
And we saw her do that yesterday, but just too late.
Catch and release from the high post is good. Akayo. And there is no second thought here. If you come up open, you're just letting it go. Japan again in the pass lane. Brown goes to work in the post, goes to left hand, has it blocked, but gets her own block shot, chases it down. 6 on the possession. Jerome's going to have to put up the three. Is short. Defensive rebound for Umezawa, and Japan will get into the half court. Umezawa outside will hand off. Akayo goes baseline, has it blocked. Well, there's a lot of physicality early. Canada in transition have numbers. Nice feel, nice tempo. Have a whistle on the play. And Mawuli's going to be charged with a personal.
She might be saying, hey, they got away with that down on the end when I drove hard.
Jerome to make it a 1-point game, and does. You mentioned yesterday the free throw line has not been Canada's friend in this tournament. Improved slightly yesterday, but still around the 50% mark, and they go 1 for 2 again.
It is the Achilles heel of this Canadian team, and they get to the minus yesterday. They have been getting to the free throw line over 20 times a game, which is a large amount. That's just missed opportunities.
Louis, hesitation, the first hesitation on the release, and can't get the mid-range to drop. Brown fumbles, and quick hands by Umezawa.
And keep in mind, Japan averaged 9 steals a game. That's a lot. We talked about this. I don't necessarily think they're athletic. I think they're quick. I think they have quick hands and quick feet. And we've seen that already today. I think uncharacteristically, Canada has a few too many turnovers for only 3.5 minutes into the game.
Well, that's going to be that balance we talked about before. Can the Canadian rebounding outweigh the steals from Japan? Quick release off the down screen is short, and the ball nestles with the camera. Coach Ajiwara, you saw just before the referee tries to demonstrate his prowess with the broom. Amazing, multifaceted, the official now.
They have to be, and you expect that. This is a bronze medal game.
They will be signing autographs and kissing babies at halftime. Hot dogs outside. Hall into the half court. I really think Hall's going to have a game. She's not an over player from the perimeter at all. Koenig will come off the screen. Can she get herself going early? Finds Hall in the corner, attacks the closeout, goes off the glass for 2. Just can't find that offensive rhythm. Yuzikawa needs a pass, finds one. Japan pass it to beat the 8-second count. Oh, a little hesitation, left hand, we got a foul. Takahara just showed a little bit to the inside, a little hesitation, and then Hall loses position, reaches, And Takahara will go to the free throw line.
And those who follow Japan, I mean, they're so good at giving you that hesitation, that look-off pass, that... that's what I'm saying. It's not an athleticism, but it's just these quick thinking, quick movements, and just that little hesitation got her that step, and she's at the free throw line. It's
almost like a speed of thought thing.
Yeah.
It's they beat you upstairs, and then you haven't got the time to recover. 2 for 2 from the line. Takahara will increase the Japanese lead to a 3-point game. Nice feel, though. Canada have come out in a much more positive frame of mind than they did yesterday. Pennington has an inside option, gets looked off. Comes off the screen, stops at the foul line for 2, is no good. Great effort on the glass, and Canada really have to get extra shots by working on that aspect of the game. Japan get hands, chance to run. Fujita. Awuri decides to not go up. Ball is quick ball movement by Japan, but Canada have really contained them on this possession. And they give up the offensive rebound, though. This reverse layup is no good. And the youngster, I mean, here it comes down the floor, turns it over. No delay going to the hoop, and Takahara gets the 2. That indecision on the pass is maybe the youth gets in the wrong, just goes against her.
I was just about to say, that's where you realize she's a 16-year-old and playing against 19-year-olds.
Well, Canada go to the post-up option, and the help was quick, but a little bit of composure, should have been a 2. And we've got a quick whistle in transition.
And if I'm Canada, I'm not sure I want Amy Hurd being involved in the court. Like, I understand it was a transition type situation, but I think she needs to take 1 or 2 dribbles quickly, pass it to the wing, because that pass was actually there, and I think a guard could have realized I had to pass it a little earlier. It wasn't a bad look, but she doesn't have that skill set yet. She will have it in the future, I can guarantee you that, but she doesn't have that yet.
It's always it's a very interesting dilemma for coaches when you've got someone that talented, and you don't want to restrict them, but you've got to try and teach them without them being negative or being. She looked like she just second-guessed herself as much as anything else.
Yeah, she did, and I wouldn't say her ball handling and her passing is the strength of her game right now, and maybe that's why we saw that hesitation, because she saw the open player running the floor.
And you mentioned before that in that situation, the quickness of the hands of these Japanese players on defense is a real strength.
It really is. I mean, 9 steals a game. So those aren't even the turnovers that they force as well. Like that's not this statistic here. You know what I mean? This is just they get a ball, they steal it, and they go down the other end. And they are quick. Their hands are quick, and I think it's like you said. They're smart as well. They react quickly. Their mind does. They read the play, and then they're able to tell their body as well. And we've seen that already early in this game. They've forced Canada into really bad passes.
Well, 4:27 and Japan have the 5-point lead. Relatively low-scoring game at the moment. Malumi going baseline. Great movement away from the ball, but there was too much traffic. The reaching foul is going to be called, though. Malumi penetrated. Everybody in a white shirt was on the move, trying to ensure they saw the basketball. And there's Pennington reaching in. And they have to go long out of bounds with a new full team. Quake first step, goes up in traffic, has it knocked away. And the ball will go over to Canada. Takahara didn't hold back on the penetration, but lost a little bit of control.
And that's where you see, I think, the height advantage that Canada has on them as well. I don't necessarily think it was a bad take. If she was the same height as, the Canadian player she went up against, it would have been a good shot.
The ball's got to go inside. There is no help. And now they just pack the middle a little bit. And sometimes you can get a little bit over-focused on going inside, and everyone gets a little bit panicky, and that time they turned down an open look and then crowded the middle. 6 turnovers for Canada is a number that's not going to help the calls as they go for the quest for the bronze medal. Kasagi. And we've got a whistle on the play. If that's Pennington, that will be foul number 2. Then she's going to have to sit. You can only think there was no communication on that screen.
Yeah, you know, she looked at her teammate after and kind of said, hey, you know, pointed to her ear. She says, I didn't hear you. You got to talk to me.
It's those simple things, and she's on 2 fouls, and she's an important player for Canada today. Fouls is not what she wants to see on the scoreboard. Great block by Jerome on the penetration. Canada have numbers down the floor. All 5 red shirts in transition. Just got to make the right decision. Little high-low look. And I have to say, I feel for the offensive player in that situation. I don't really know what else they can do. I'm sure we're going to get a replay.
You're a coach. You ask your players to coach up, post up hard, right, and demand the ball and get position, and it seems like that's what she was doing.
And there was contact, but well, there's always going to be contact. Zakaric picks up foul number 2. Louis will reverse it. Gets to the second side so quickly. He'll take the baseline penetration to the pull-up. Poor shot. Hall has a chance to push, and Canada are getting transition opportunities, but the defensive effort by Japan to just take those away is exceptional. Needs to get a touch on the inside. Right, tries to go one-on-one. The help comes down. Nice little pass. Brown's got to go up. Tough shot on the fadeaway off the glass. Always go to your friend. The glass is always your friend in that situation. She knocks the 2 down, and they really needed 2 there. 8-5. Japan have the lead. And the defense from Canada building on the 2, forces the turnover.
You know, if I'm Canada right now, I'm only down 3 points. I think they have played decently on defense, but it's those 6 turnovers that we saw, and that's the reason that they're down right now. So you can't be too disappointed only being down 3.
Well, here's Hall trying to close that margin or even tie the game with the 3. And again, the Japanese defense is just relentless in terms of its intensity. Hall does a great job scrambling, but Japan beat the pressure. They skip it. Open 3 from the far corner is short. Louis on the glass, but Brown will come down with it. Oh, we get a look at the stats. No one's going to be writing home about the percentages, but you can't fault the defense. All right, lines up the 3. We've got a tied game, 8 apiece. And that's what you're talking about with her. They called it 2.
Yeah, I think her toe was on the line. I mean, this is a 16-year-old. We saw her attempt to dunk yesterday, so let's just talk about the facets of her game.
Yeah, really.
That was almost a 3, and she can easily dunk, people.
Japan in the half court again. They look at the 3, turn it down. Louis with the, that is a 3.
Louis says, you know what? I can do that too, and I'm a post player.
Well, she's also toeing the line, and it's a 10-7 margin. 1:20 to go in the first, and Hall will advance it. Van Leeuwen, nowhere to go, needs a pass. It goes up with the left hand, well, takes the long 2, goes to the left hand, far side of the ring, gets the 2, and she has, well, a little bit what she did yesterday, a little bit of ignition of this Canadian offense off the bench.
And, you know, the defense had to get out and guard her because she just nailed that long 2. She kind of gave a little bit of a shot fake, and that's what opened up the layup for her.
Well, Van Leeuwen will come down with a defensive rebound and advance it. Van Leeuwen, feet set for 3, lines it up, knocks it down. And all of a sudden, Canada have found an offensive rhythm. They lead this 12-10. Great inside-outside option, and it all starts with their defense, though. Shimabaya tough. Little 4-footer on the inside is no good, and Hall has got 6 seconds to get a good one for Canada. Stops, pops the three, back-to-back threes for Canada at the end of the quarter, and Hall makes her first points in 5 quarters of basketball, and what a great time to make them. 14-10 at the end of one, and Canada have led for about 20 seconds of the first, but they lead by 4 on the back of this step back. It's probably the toughest shot she's taken, and she's made it.
And you know what, you called it. You said she's not an over. We saw her not score yesterday, and we knew they weren't going to play like they did yesterday. I mean, yesterday was not an example of the way this Canada team plays, and we're seeing it here today.
Well, there's confirmation of that first quarter score. Canada, after training for most of the first quarter, have a 14-10 advantage. Almost to script this game in terms of what both teams are trying to do. It's intriguing. And I always get impressed when coaches have no time to prepare, just a day, and they come up with defensive strategies in these tournaments. Tournament play internationally is so tough.
It really is, and you know, that's why you have scouting coaches, that's why you have video, and you know, both these teams went home last night and they watched video. They watched video today. Their coaches were prepared, and that's why they're in the bronze medal game. It's because of the coaches, not just the players. Well,
8 turnovers for Canada. If they could get rid of that, they would be in a very strong position. But a bronze medal first quarter that's lived up to expectations. And there's the highlight of Pennington going to the basket. That must have been very much a real confidence builder for her. So if you're Coach Hagiwara, it's you're going to look at this thing, defense is great, but I've only scored 10 points, and you look at your shooting percentages and like, this is not going to last. Do you think it's not going to last, or do you panic? I don't see her panicking at the moment.
No, neither of these teams are panicking, especially not Japan. You know, they're saying, we did a great job on defense. We forced Canada into 8 turnovers. That's an enormous amount of turnovers. I mean, that's the kind of average you want for a game, not in your first quarter. So, you know, it's, hey, okay, so we're not scoring, so maybe we can get some touches on the offensive rebound, give ourselves second chances. And we saw Japan yesterday against the U.S. go through a couple scoring droughts, let's say, where it just seemed like a lid was on the rim.
Yeah.
They're going to fight through this. You know what? They're probably going to come out of this, run a great offense, and get a score.
Well, they run a little flare screen action there. They're going to reverse it. It's like Akala, who got herself going in the second half yesterday. Great offensive rebound. And Japan tick it over straight away at the start of the second.
I just said, go offensive rebound and give yourself a chance because you're not making your first shot.
Kuribayashi was the successful rebounder. Van Leeuwen, who had a nice end to that first period, puts it on the floor. Nowhere to go now, needs a pass. Hall, who must have her confidence buoyed by the last shot, steps back and gets the back of the ring, but she had to put it up. No time on the clock, gets her own rebound. Brown, mid-range. And Brown had a tremendous offensive game yesterday, struggling so far, but Canada causing havoc on the offensive boards. Brown has it again, goes strong, left hand, far side of the ring. She is fouled, will go to the free throw line.
And we talked about this yesterday in the game, the Canada-Russia game, where it was a blowout. And both coaches went to their bench early in the fourth, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't see Van Leeuwen play a ton for Canada yesterday early. But then when she did come in, we said, hey, this is the chance where you show your coaches. And she did do a good job yesterday coming in a game that was already lost, let's be honest. And look, we saw her enter in the first quarter. She's already on the board. That's what that game also did for her yesterday. It gave her confidence, it gave the coaches confidence, and now we see her playing for Canada.
And that, again, that's another one of those facets of tournament play. You've got, as a coach, you have to know those situations. Again, you've got to go with it. You've got to go with the player who's playing well at that time. Amari's all over defensively. She's in the passing lane, really trying to make things happen. And Canada is stepping it up defensively. Louis goes up with a long two, poor shot, and the poor shot was purely down to some great Canadian defense. Mawuli, who has looked really impressive almost right up until yesterday's game, and has herself lost a lot of rhythm. She's too good a player for that to last. Great defense, great denial. Yeah, she doesn't panic, kicks it. Japan in the half court looking to get a good one. Malui will come and collect. Shibaya is long. Defensive rebound is pulled in by Koenig, and she'll bring. Attacks it in transition, goes left. Great defensive effort. You can talk and question perhaps today, maybe the decision, but Takahara's defense in transition was just excellent.
It was. I mean, she just did a good job of staying in front, actually recovering to the ball, getting in front, not really going for any hesitation dribbles that Koenig gave her. And I mean,
and that's the great thing about Van Leeuwen's decision, not to try and force it. She just wanted to move the ball on, and they ended up with a decent option because she made a sensible decision. Van Leeuwen, they look inside. Murray just holds, goes up off the glass, can't get the finish, but gets her own rebound. Great effort. Second effort. Tremendous work on the boards. Japan will take the timeout. And Canada have come out at the start of this second quarter. Much more the aggressor. Great work on the glass. The offensive rebound put back. They lead this 16-12, and Japan will take the timeout.
And, you know, again, it's really just turnovers. They had 8 at the end of the first. They already have 10 in this game. And imagine the score if they had 10 more shot attempts as opposed to 10 turnovers right now.
Yep.
So you can't be too disappointed if you're Coach Clark for Canada.
But in the other aspects of it, she's got to be very pleased about that effort on the glass. And it's not just from, you know, where you'd expect it from Mariah. Everybody's doing a job.
Yeah, they are. They really are. And you've seen that already on both ends of the court, I think, for Canada. I do think if Japan want to give themselves a chance, they need to maybe, when we saw them do it against a good USA, a bigger USA team yesterday, they had offensive rebounds against them. You know, tips. They were getting themselves second chances. So I think that's something that Japan really needs to think about trying to do here.
Well, you can see the Canadian contingent try to help their team during that timeout. And I don't think, unless you've been in these situations, I don't think you realize how tired you are at this stage of a tournament. So in a bronze medal game, that's a real plus, but this is a huge effort, especially for young players.
Yeah, and you know, so you talk about physically being tired, but they're also mentally tired. You know, we saw a Japanese team who they thought they had a chance to win against the U.S. and they were very disappointed. You know, there were tears. So mentally, it takes a lot out of you as well as physically.
Koenig for 3 is long. Good decision to take it because Brown's on the glass. Goes up with the left hand. Poor shot. Doesn't get it to drop. And Japan run it straight back at Canada. We've got a whistle on the play, away from the basketball. I think Van Leeuwen's going to be called for the hold. At the moment, there's about 5 players who don't know what's being called.
I mean, I think it is a foul on Van Leeuwen.
Oh, yeah.
And it was actually a pretty good decision. I'm not going to see the replay, but Mawuli had position, and they were going to be able to. It was going to be an easy 2-point. So I don't mind that foul.
Absolutely. So Japan from the end line. Tsubuya. Oh, great first step. Finds herself far side of the ring. Pretty finish.
That's a highlight move. I mean, how quick decision, aggressive take, reverse 2 points.
Brown in the post. Inside, outside. Jerome puts it on the floor against the quicker Maluri and got what you thought would happen. They just need to create a longer closeout for Jerome to actually put it on the floor. Maluri was there as she caught it, but the possession arrow favored Canada, so they'll have 8 seconds on the possession. Hall has it. Takes the screens, going to get a feet set, fires the tough 2, doesn't get the roll. And Van Leeuwen again comes up with a positive stat. Players find ways to contribute in the biggest of games. Jerome puts it on the floor in an area you should never put it on the floor. And Japan.
You know, Van Leeuwen's doing a great job. She had to come in for the foul trouble of Pennington, and I think she's almost, you know, kind of got this Canada team rolling.
Yep. Great work on the offensive boards. Japan get another full team. Malui outside, fires it up. Is short. Who's coming down? It's a battle in there. And I think the ball will belong to Japan, and they'll get a new full team reset. Well, no one is holding back here. Malui's going to sit for Japan, as is Brown for Canada. End line possession. They're going to screen the screener again. They come up open. Shibuya gets it into the half court. Takahara will put it on the floor. The three is released. It's going to be short. And Van Leeuwen again, she's a little bit ball magnet time at the moment. Comes down with the rebound and brings it, attacks it with the right hand. Now needs a pass. Little cute pass out the back of the hand for two. Right place, right time for Bogomin.
That's just a good job by your big running the floor as well.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that, okay, my guards might find me if I run, and she did a good job getting down, following the play.
Takahara gets into the lane again, takes a tough one off the glass. Wow, manufactured that one. And Takahara goes to 6. And we've got a bronze medal game that we thought we were going to have. 4-point game, Koenig outside. I think we'll have it at the high post. Jerome will slide through. Keeps it off the floor this time and goes up with the left hand for 2.
That's a smart move. You know, we saw her put the ball on the floor. Japan are quick. They have quick hands. They're going to get the steal. And that time she just did a good job.
Hall just completely blindsided. It was just ran into. And I'm not sure if she's, I don't think, she's tough. She's not going to want to sit down. Pennington's going to come in. I think she probably needs a moment. Let's take a look. Oof. Not sure how legal the timing of that was.
If it was a screen, I mean, you know, you're looking at your teammate too, saying, why didn't you scream at me?
It's the second time that both point guards for Canada have been completely hung out to dry by their teammate. Come on, feet set. That's where she'd expect to make it from. Comes up short. It just does another great job. 16 years old. Not 16 years young. That's an effort.
She is so incredibly athletic, but she just, look at this here. She just does a good job of staying with the ball. She wanted that ball more than the 3 Japanese players around her is what it really came down to.
Well, if this is the first time you've seen Leticia Amir, and
Google her,
it's
YouTube her.
It's not the last time you're going to see her in an International Canada vest. Pennington floats it, soft touch for 2. And she really has picked up where she left off in that fourth quarter of the semi-final. 4 points personal. Akaho will move it on. Great, but Malui's first step just scares the defense. And we've got a foul. And when you're 16 years old, you're almost entitled to a little bit of a mental breakdown. No need for her to reach in.
And you know, that's some of her decision making. We've seen it all tournament. She makes some decisions that 16-year-olds make, and that's an easy part of her game. She's gonna fix that as soon as she plays more. She gets more experience. You know, she has coaches reminding her, like, okay, so what should you not have done there?
Akao makes the second of the throws, and Japan tick it over.
The foul to the goal goes to Japan.
You know, you saw Koenig there go for the post up, and maybe she's a little frustrated she hasn't hit a 3 yet. I mean, she's been open there. I think they've been good shots. And if you're a shooter, what do they tell you? Keep shooting.
Yeah. If that's your forte, no one's picking you to pass. Yeah. Baseline is wide open. They blow the layup. Jerome comes down with the rebound, and Canada look to run again, but don't have the numbers this time. I mean, here outside, then the help's, there's far too much help. because there were 3 white shirts by the time the ball was released. The intent is good, looking down low is good, but you've got to get a better decision on the pass.
And that's where, you know, I think Koenig, if she had hit her other threes, or at least one of them, she would have shot that, because she wasn't really being guarded closely.
Beautiful movement, beautiful pass, great little finish by Akahao, and that's where they get their assists. Movement away from the ball.
Really, we saw that so much yesterday, and they know how to move. They know how to move off penetration, but they're also exceptionally good at delivering the pass at the right time in the right moment.
Koenig forces one off the right hand, can't get it to drop. But Louis, who seems to have found some energy as this game develops. Umezawa puts it on the floor, spins to the right hand for 2. And it's a game of runs, and it's Japan's turn to get a little run going. They trail it by 2. When the scoreboard will tick over, or is it 4? It's 4, 24-20. Timeout for Canada. And this is really warming up into a classic bronze medal game. 2-point game, Canada take the timeout.
It is, but this is what we expected, and especially from a team like Japan. You know they're fast. You know that they can get easy, quick baskets, and that's what we've seen. Again, if I'm Canada, I'm happy because we do have so many turnovers that you're still up 2. Let's just put it that way.
Offensively, let's go.
It's an interesting point. We heard Coach Clark there saying that make these Japanese guys use the ball screen, because I think they'd almost feel more comfortable when they defend the ball screen as opposed to all this movement away from the ball.
Yeah, and you know, make them use it. You have your big defender there to help you, you know, and typically if they're using a ball screen, they're probably running in, you know, going to the middle of the court where the rest of the defenders are there waiting. But this is how fast and quick and good Japan is at their decision making. You know, they fake you a little bit. It's a tiny little fake, and then they're fast enough that they just take you off the dribble the other direction.
All right, it's an intriguing game with 2:17 to go in the half. Pennington will get it into the half court. Koenig, who's yet to get herself going offensively at all. Can't say that about Amiri. Brown, nowhere to go, finds Pennington. Wide open for Koenig, exactly what she needs. Can't get it to drop. Brown comes up with the offensive rebound, kicks it. Pennington thinks about it. Puts it on the floor. And they're going to call a foul. The baseline official was signaling she was out of bounds, but I think one of these co-officials said the foul has occurred before that. The great thing is when they talk to each other as officials. There's 3 of them out there. They should have someone to talk to. And Mawuli sits down. Pennington has it out of bounds. 14-second reset. They're trying to find shots for Koenig. They really are desperate to get it going. Amiri's got to make something happen here. Goes tough with the right hand off the glass for 2. When in doubt, just be 16 and play. Oh, great transition by Japan the other way.
I mean, you can't let a fast break happen off of a score. That's one of those coaches going to talk about at halftime and get very mad.
Wow, Pennington just, who wants to play half court? No one at the moment. She pushes it, gets the 2. Trowell wide open, hit the second side here early. Uziwara just about holds on. The 3 is gone, buried it. Akahao gets the 3. And in a moment, this game has stopped being a real war of attrition, and all of a sudden, neither team can miss. 28-27, last minute of the first half. And Amiri outside will reverse it. Jerome, who's had her struggles, but goes inside. Mid-range 2 is good. When she plays within herself, she looks very special.
Within herself, but she has so many offensive.
Absolutely.
You know, we saw her hit almost 3. We've seen her attempt a dunk. I mean, when you have that many weapons, it's easy to play within yourself.
And the 3 is no good. Brown comes down with a defensive rebound, and Canada have a chance to build on the 3-point lead. And there's only a just around a 2-3 second differential between the game and the possession clock. Pennington will finally decide to come this way. Amiri will flare. They're going to go inside, surely. Yes, they do. Amiri gets triple teamed. Well, they find Jerome for the three. Right on the buzzer, she knocks it down. And Canada end the half.
The banks are open on a Sunday here in Italy.
Kisses it off the glass for three.
You know, maybe it's not pretty, maybe she didn't call it, but 3 points is 3 points, no matter how it goes in.
Well, they did a great job using up every single second of the possession. 33-27 at the half of the bronze medal game in the World Cup, Under-19 World Cup. Here are the stats, and Canada over 50% from the 2-point range.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why they're up right now, really. You think about their turnovers, and they're just knocking down shots.
But another great number there with their 10 assists. They've started to move and share it.
26 rebounds to 14, 9 offensive. You know, they gave themselves second chances to score, but that is that's what's hurting them this game. 12 turnovers. I mean, they could be up by about 10 right now if it wasn't for those 12 turnovers. But give credit to Japan. They are forcing them into those turnovers. Canada's not just throwing the ball out of bounds. They're throwing it into Japanese hands because they're so quick.
And the only other worrying stat, or positive stat, depending on whether you're looking backwards or forwards, 1 from 9 from the 3-point line for Japan is way under where you'd expect them to be. And so there are a number of stats where you'd expect both of these teams to be in a better place. And so it's really set up nicely for this second half. And yeah, there she is as the leading scorer. I mean, here, and when you have that much talent, it's just a case of you have to be patient with her and you have to give her the time, because there's no rush for her. She's got enough things to grow into. But when she's playing controlled within herself, she looks very, very, very good.
She really does. And she, like you mentioned, she actually has so many weapons already in her offensive game that I think right now she's causing Japan problems. But, let's not forget, we saw Sasaka come out yesterday in the second half. She had 2 points at halftime. She ended up finishing with a 16, I think it was. And she's only played 2 minutes here in the first. So maybe, like yesterday, that's something that Japan is going to think about and maybe utilize.
Well, some of these highlights are going to show what a quality period of basketball we've just seen, because Japan came out very, very confident, made some mid-range shots, and Canada were a little hesitant. But Pennington in particular was very quick, got to the basket, and she and Amira between them really did give the rest of the group a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to see Pennington. She got those 2 fouls when she was on the bench, but she started the game very well. She started the game aggressive, pushing it, and we didn't see that from her yesterday. So, coaches have talked to them. They've reflected on their game yesterday, and Canada's playing much better. I mean, the team we saw yesterday is not the team we're watching today.
And we mentioned during that first half that you get some contributions from some interesting places, and Van Leeuwen was okay. A lot of plaudits for Amiri and for Pennington, but Van Leeuwen was very, very instrumental in turning the situation around for Canada.
She was. She came in for Pennington, and she has 3 points. She's 1 for 1. She has 5 boards, 2 offensive, and she has 3 assists and only 1 turnover. And Canada's been turnover, prone this first half. So you talk about someone taking advantage of an opportunity that was given to her late in the game yesterday, but then also she came in early today. She only averages 13 minutes a game typically. She's already played 9. She's taken advantage, and I really think she has given them a spark off the bench and something that they needed.
Well, these highlights, again, will show you how close this game is. 33-27 at the half. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in around 10 for the second half of the bronze medal game. So we'll see you then. Well, welcome back. We're at halftime of the bronze medal game of the Under-19 World Cup. And that young lady, well, Coach Clark is a young lady, but Amiri ran past her, has had a big impact on that first half performance. She has 10 points as Canada lead this 33-27. Still too close to call because both these teams have had moments in that first half where they were exceptional. The only guarantee for the whole period is that they both look like at the end of a very long, tiring competition.
Yeah, and you know, we knew that. We knew that they were going to be tired, and it's physically tiring, it's mentally tiring, but you have 20 minutes left. You have 20 minutes left to make history. So it's go time. Honestly, I don't know how pretty this next 20 minutes is going to be because we're going to see some tired legs, but it's going to come down to who wants it more. They're so equal right now on how they're playing. It's going to be a great 20 minutes.
Well, you made a comment earlier on about no regrets, and both these groups will have a long journey home to recover the tiredness. They will not have it won't be long enough to recover the disappointment. So it's not about sitting down and analysing, because when they sit down and analyse, both teams will say, hey, we did a great job, we did the ball gone forward. All they're going to matter now for 20 minutes is who goes away with a medal and who doesn't get on the podium. And I don't care how tired you are, you are going to leave it out, aren't you?
You are. You know, I imagine you're going to see a lot of women, young women diving on loose balls, and that's what it's going to come down to. I think rebounding, offensively and defensively, and loose balls, and that's just who wants it more. That's what we need to see from both these teams if they want a chance to win. You know, you look at stats, Canada has 15 points off the bench, and Japan only has 2. And we talked before the game, I said Japan does a great job of bench scoring. So I think it's going to be a very different second half for this Japanese team because they have been playing well. We've seen them force Canada into 12 turnovers already, but I don't think we've seen offensively the talent that Japan has yet, and they're a lot more capable of shooting the ball better, especially from the three-point line.
Well, just about ready to go. Buzzer will sound, and we are 20 minutes away from finding out which of these two teams will be the bronze medalists. Will Japan get their first ever win over Canada? Whoever wins is going to get their first medal ever at this level. Hall, who's recovered from that blind screen almost. Connie comes off the screen and will find Jerome, who lifts. Hall with no option in the post. Looks like she wants to attack it on the dribble. Now gets a ball screen. Well, Brown steps out for the 3, is short, and gets involved with the shot clock.
And, you know, I don't mind Canada being patient there, but there was no aggressivity to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Haley Brown was your first option with a step-out 3.
Yeah.
I'm sure that wasn't the call.
Late in the shot clock.
Yeah.
You know, be aggressive. Run your offense. Be patient, but you can still be aggressive.
Malui gets it into the half court. Great little first step by Akaho, who turns it over, though. And the ball will be turned over to Canada. So both teams have not had the first possession they would have really wanted.
No, probably not what the coaches drew up in the locker room at halftime.
Hannah Hall will get Canada into the half court. Connie will step out. She'll take that ball screen, gets a feed set for 3, and throws up the air ball. And it just looked very labored, and it looked like the ball had put on some weight. Just struggled.
She's tired.
Yeah.
You know, she's definitely fatigued. But you're a shooter, trust me. I know Coach Clark is not happy with the air ball, but you want your shooter to have confidence.
Takahara looks to penetrate. We'll move it on. Malui gets inside, goes with a left hand off the glass, and she really...
she's smiling after that one, knowing maybe got a little lucky.
Now, we heard it. We heard her call it.
She said the banks were open for Canada. Why not for us?
Exactly. Brown has it. Back cut was there, but she couldn't make the pass. Goes inside. Soft touch for 2. And Brown picks up her first points of the night. almost a travel. Suwara. Kuzimawa gets the screen and off the glass for two. Tough move down the middle.
Great finish with her left hand there.
Shibuyaya. What a nice move down the middle.
It
Tough,
really was.
tough.
It was quick, it was fast. You know, she went up with confidence.
Brown on a high-low goes up and took it back to the defense. And great effort by Umezawa. Takahara will move it on. Japan have got that quick rhythm going in the half court at the moment. Canada being stretched defensively, but they do a great job. Lowy is off with a three, and Pellington has a chance to run. And there's almost a sense of expectation when she gets going in the forecourt. Again, they look at that high-low. Surely there was a need to clear the keyway. Pellington has it. Takes the ball screen, a little hesitation, goes off the glass. And I think there's about 100 coaches behind that bench going, if she'd have used her left hand, she'd have scored.
Yeah, you know, I mean, she kind of has the advantage there. It was a good job getting back on defense,
oh, yeah, but
and trying to contest it. But I agree with you, kind of protect the ball with your right, but then go up with your left. But that possession by Canada, you know, you had Jerome with a posting, and I think Canada's worried about trying to pass the ball into the post because they do have so many turnovers.
Well, that's a 24 violation, and again, they didn't really get a good look at anything. 4-point game, 7:06 to go in the third, and Takahara will advance the ball. Mamuli will move it on again. Japan starting to swing it. Attack the closeout after ball reversal. And Takahara gets the advantage, goes to 8 points personal. And it's a little bit deja vu in the way that they've started this second half. Pellington. It's a little bit passive again by Canada.
And you know, you saw Brown with, in my opinion, you saw her numbers, you saw Canada across her chest, which means the pass can get in. And Canada are a little intimidated about trying to pass in because they do have all those turnovers. They're worried about the quick hands of this, you know, smart Japanese team.
And Japan, there was a lid on it from the three-point line. There's not a lid on it anymore.
No, this is a different team this second half from Japan.
And Japan, after a great start to this third quarter, take their first lead in a long time. Pellington looks inside again. It's everything being played in front of the Japanese defense at the moment. Jerome tries to go baseline, nowhere to go, drags the pivot for turnover. And we got a mid-court foul. And a good foul in the end by Amaria. I mean, just clumsily fouled, but it's a great foul.
Yeah, it was one of those. I'm not really sure she knew she should foul. But, you know, the older you get, the more experience. That's a good foul because it would have been a transition, too, for Japan.
And it just takes the air out of the game a little bit. Malui puts it on the floor, stops and pops the long two. And for the first time, there was no ball reversal there for Japan. They've got so much joy out of shipping the ball from one side to the other and then attacking it. Brown has it in the post early. Tries to go to work, inside, outside. They move it on. Jerome attacks it this time, goes strong, gets her own rebound, back up for two. Can't get it to drop, and the ball will belong to Japan, but you've got to like that more because of the aggression.
Yeah, I think that was a better job. You know, you actually saw the ball start on the left-hand side. It went into the post. It got skipped to the 45. You had one more ball reversal and then a hard take by Jerome. You know, tough shot. She got her own rebound back. She missed an easy layup on the rebound, but that's good offense. That's good attack for Canada.
So Japan trying to build on this great start to the second half. Again, the ball is shipped across. Then they go inside. The guy goes up with the right hand. Tough little move. Doesn't get the drop. And Koenig has a chance to lead the break. Inside early. Brown has it. Great help from the weak side. Just came and went after it. 3-on-1 break. Louis goes up. She's fouled rather clumsily and picks herself up. And that's a little bit of that the concerns that you mentioned about Canada going inside. They go inside and Brown doesn't read the help.
Yeah.
She had it and then just lost it.
I mean, you know, she has to know that a trap's coming. But this is how fast Japan is. I'm sure Brown knew. She just didn't know they were going to be there that fast. And Japan have incredibly quick hands. And it's another turnover for Canada.
Malui on the free throw line. Has made the first. Can't make the second with the offensive. Oh, what a block. Well, let's get the coaching point out of the way. No one boxed out, but hey, when you've got that athleticism, you can make up for so many things. I mean, here comes up with a big, crucial block. Again, would have been a big momentum swing, an offensive rebound, a putback. They're up the floor playing defense. Now Canada has a chance, at least, with their defense set.
Yeah, you know, like you said, no box out. You're disappointed in that, but you're lucky that you have the athleticism to get the block and prevent Japan from an easy two.
Stayed with the play, didn't she? She didn't get disappointed. I don't know what she'd get disappointed about, but Subiya goes, pulls up for two, is no good. That's an offensive rebound. Just physically didn't keep her off the glass.
No, and you know, Canada had position there, but she didn't move her back.
Yep. Well, and so far, the last, oh! And the foul. You always get rewarded if you outwork your opponent, and that's all that happened.
And this is what I said, who wants it more? The beginning of this third quarter, in my opinion, it looks like Japan wants it more, and it shows. They're up, they have the lead, they battled for offensive rebounds there, and look at that. Another offensive
Absolutely, Shibuya missed the free throw, and it's Iwasawa's turn to be the rebound machine. Although he shoots the two, is no good. Chance here for Jerome to lead the break. And in some ways, Canada are lucky just to be 4 down after that series. Shesky will set the screen, didn't really execute it. Shesky shoots the second one, Hall finds space. Coney for three.
She said, finally.
Well, it's taken her 2.5 games, or 1.5 games to get that three-point shot going again. In Japan there, it's watch out time.
And, you know, the shots she's had early in this game, they were on. They were short, so she's tired. Oh.
Straight down the gut of the defense. Amiya Shata just...
That's a good response from Japan.
Straight down the heart of the defense, gets the two. Jeski on the outside, on the three-point line, not doing anything apart from passing. Hall has it. She'll take the ball screen, steps back for three. Is long. Wow. That's rebounding outside your own space.
Did you see that arm? It was a go-go gadget arm.
Yeah, exactly. Hall again, pops in the hole for two. Finds that little hole behind the screen, stops and pops for two. And Hannah Hall gets her 4th point of the game. And we've got a 1-pointer. Izemara will hand it off, got a whistle, and the ball will stay with Japan. And Van Leeuwen will come in. If she has the same impact she had in the first half, Canada will be incredibly happy. Pellington steps back in too. Koenig sits. Malui will release the inbounds. Again, breaking down the defense, penetrate, to turn down the corner, jump shot and take the penetration. Amiya Shata gets the two, and that's a great decision.
It was a nice, strong move. A little miscommunication on Canada's part because there were red jerseys around there, but no one went to help.
Pennington outside the three-point line will turn down the screen, get into the gap. Amiri puts it on the floor, goes strong, manufactures a shot. It's not really in the manual. It may well be in the manual soon, but it's not in the manual at the moment. 1-point game. Open three is off. Again, Canada just about dodged the offensive rebound bullet, and Hall has it. inside option is there. Great work, though. Defensively, Malu had no reason to be able to get across that. She was sealed and everything.
She had position, and, you know, that's just the defense outworking the offense there.
Yeah.
And that's good because, you know what? It would have been a 2 points.
Pennington out of the inbound. Attacks it. Hall, feet set for three. Got it!
And, you know, you said she was due for a good game after her performance yesterday, and she stepped up to the challenge, that's for sure.
Uchita will move it on. And now it's Japan's turn to dry up a little bit. Fulton shots off of just the first side. Amira looks inside, doesn't want to go in there.
Because they're worried about turning the ball over. That's what we're seeing right now.
Amira has it, got a whistle on the play. I think there was a little bit too much of contact from Kuribayashi. And the amazing thing for me is the way Japan play defense, that's their first foul in this period. And they look aggressive, they look quick.
Absolutely.
But they're very, very disciplined. A nice little move to the baseline side. Azieski gets the two, didn't put it on the floor, caught it and went early.
You can't put it on the floor. It's going to be a turnover if you put it on the floor. And she almost looked off balance, but she caught herself, and she was under control when she laid that ball up.
Louis goes to the reverse layout. The same move as the first half. That one just looked tired. Attack the closeout again. We've got a whistle on the play.
You know, that's not a bad foul. It is in the regard that that's her third, but I like that foul because I think Japan were about to score, and Canada needed to slow down their momentum and the attack there.
Puts them on the sideline with a 14-second reset. And Fujita gets in the lane, kicks it. Short mid-range jump shot is good. And Mashita comes up with more points in this period. That's all 6 have been in this third period for her. Mashita, nice job on finishing the play. Less than a second differential between the possession and the game clock. This is whole time. She made the 3 at the end of the first. Got to put it up. They've ended up with nothing. Van Leeuwen's got to take the step back 3 and knocks it down. Canada a 3 from 3 at the end of every quarter.
And you know what? They're only up 5. They weathered the run from Japan. Japan came out and played great in the first 5 minutes of this quarter. They weathered the run. It's a game of runs. Canada's still up 5, which it's kind of surprising. And then you have Van Leeuwen, who played great for them in the first half, come in and do exactly what she did in the first half.
Well, it's an amazing set of circumstances for me. Hall gets the 3 on the end of at the end of the first quarter. I can't remember who hit the 3 at the end of the half. And then again, Van Leeuwen hits the 3 at the end of the third.
That is, if you're Japan, that's depleting. It really is. It's just one of those where you play decent, you have a decent third quarter, and then that happens.
Well, the great story for Japan in that period is that the rebound imbalance didn't get any worse. They just about held their own. And that's part of the reason they had that run.
Yeah. And, you know, you look at that, 15 turnovers. I mean, I know they only had 3 that quarter.
Well, this is one of the shots that started. It's amazing certain plays will start runs. A little runner from Mawuli just ignited that Japan run, and you've got to give. And then they had that period where they had the 3 or 4 offensive rebounds and couldn't score. And because they didn't score then, Canada had another opportunity. This is definitely who gets their run at the right time. It's a 5-point game. A bronze medal is 10 minutes away.
10 minutes. You know both the coaches right now are saying, guys, there's 10 minutes left in this game. Who wants it more? 10 minutes. 10 minutes minutes. I mean, that's nothing considering how much work, time, effort you have put in all year, you have put in this summer to have a medal around your neck. So you just, there's fatigue on both sides. You know, it's not as though Japan are more tired than Canada right now. It's who can dig down and who has the willpower.
Well, we're going to find out. Fujita gets it into the half court. And Japan get the ball moving again. And they can't get the two to drop, but great work on the glass. And again, Mija Sata comes up with another two to make that 8 points in this second half. And it's her second half. It doesn't matter who it is. It's her turn today. That's an offensive foul. It was an offensive foul from where we're sitting, and we can't be any further away. And they're right in front of the official. I think even I'd have called that one.
Yeah, and you know, I know you're taught as opposed to, let's see this. And you know, that's a little bit of Koning's fault too. She didn't wait for her teammate to get there, set her feet, set the screen. She left a little early. So that's one of those where you're looking at your guard and saying, hey, can you wait?
Shibuya will move it on. 5 on the possession. They take a tough one off the glass. I don't even have to tell you who scored. Because at the moment, the Kiho, Mia Shatats, it's her game.
And you know, that's what we saw yesterday from Sasaka. And another moving screen foul.
1 is bad execution, 2 is dumb.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great way that they use the body to protect the ball on the way through. They don't give the defense any chance whatsoever to block it. 1 point game, 50-49, and Japan start the fourth like they started the third. Definitely being the aggressor. Maruli goes up, left hand off the glass, doesn't get the roll. And that's 2 athletes going at each other.
That's a good matchup. That's a fun matchup to see. And you know, this is a matchup I think we're going to see for many years to come.
And they hit the second side. It goes up, little floater. Wow. Well, guys off the bench counteracting each other. Van Leeuwen just underlines what a great impact she's had on the game. That's offensive too. And Van Leeuwen's involved as well. She just chased hard. If she hadn't chased hard, there would be no foul here.
Exactly, and she knows she has to chase hard because, let me tell you, Japan, if they're open, that shot's going up, and it's going up very fast.
Well, Kuribayashi sits, and with 4 fouls, that's a big number. She's a big factor at end of games for Japan. Hall comes off the ball screen. They look high-low. Brown was open, comes back to the left hand. Great effort defensively. It would have been so easy for Malui to foul then. Just stood her ground. Japan in transition, hits the second side so quickly. And we got a whistle away from the ball.
I mean, the refs are calling it fairly. But
where is
again, we saw this. We saw Canada get 2 foul calls on moving screens. So clearly it's something they're looking for. No?
Yeah, I agree with you. What I'm surprised at is that I don't really see that much difference between, apart from the first one, which I thought was an obvious walk through someone, I don't really see a lot of difference between the screens now and the screens in the first 3 quarters. That's my only...
Yeah. But at least they're calling it.
Yeah, for 1 second, I don't know where the call has been. I think most of the calls are right. It's just they haven't been made until now. Brown out top. Hall with a feet set, now attacks the closeout, wraps it. Brown for 3, gets it. Or did she toe the line?
And you know, we've seen both these teams toe the line quite a bit here in this game, and it's almost one of those, you know, worst shot in basketball.
Oh, tremendous little pick and roll action. Easy too for Akawa, but it was just the speed and the execution. 11 points personal. We got another whistle.
Japan are so good at passing. They really emphasize and work on that part of the game. You can tell just from watching them in this tournament. And also, you know, those who follow women's basketball, you ever watch the senior team play, they are exceptionally good at creating, passing, and knowing where their teammates are going to be also.
I'm not going to get into this, but in the last quarter, there was only 4 fouls in the whole quarter. We've already had 5, and I don't see the game has changed that much. But maybe the officials are going to want to make sure it stays that way as this fourth quarter winds down. Jerome, nowhere to go, has to kick. And then Lewin goes inside to Brown, inside, outside. Koenig has it. She's going to have to make a tough one. Gets to the baseline, feet set, leans away, and just drops it.
Oh, I mean, that was a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Japan played great defense.
And again, points in bunches, stops in bunches, and Van Leeuwen is involved again. Now she needs a pass. Well, they found Connie wide open again. Great recognition, and she goes back-to-back. 5 personal in a row. And Koenig, having had a really disastrous game yesterday, has broken this game open almost for Canada with 6:33 to go in the fourth. They need it 59-51, and that's what she is. You keep saying it, if you shoot, shoot.
And, you know, like you said, it took her a game and a half to knock down a 3, and guess what? She's doing it when they need it, and that's why they're up right now. But this is a game of runs. We saw Japan come back against the U.S. yesterday. They were down 20 going into the fourth, and they got it within 9 with about 3 minutes left, would you say? So it's a game of runs. The Japanese are very good at playing quick. They're very good at taking good, quick shots early in the possession and making them. So this team, this game is still close. I mean, there's still a lot of time left.
What you have now is a situation where you would hope that Canada just keep doing the same things and not try and manage the game. It's far too much time. But you know Japan are going to move the ball, get a few quick shots. This game could be tied up in 3 possessions.
Absolutely.
So,
and we've seen how talented this Japanese team is at getting steals. You know, they already have 9 in this game. So they can get a steal to a quick score, you know, and just maybe another stop to a score, things like that. So the game can change so fast.
Well, after the Japanese timeout, you always want something good coming out of the timeout. Exactly what you've drawn up. You need to get that, and then you would hope to step on something defensively. Akaya in the lane. Wide open look from the corner. Buried it. And why would it be anyone else? 13 points in the second half. Closes it to a 6-point game.
They're not going away. They know there's a lot of time left in this game also.
Brown will kick it. Koenig again, left wide open. Can't complete, but Brown just can't control it. One of those agonizing rebounds. Surely you don't want to leave Koenig wide open, having just made her last 2. But they dodged a bullet.
They did dodge a bullet. They got lucky on that one. Oh, so I guess that last shot by Japan was only a 2-point game. I thought it was a 3.
It's another example of toeing the line.
And like I said, it's almost the worst shot in basketball because it's just as hard to make a 3, but you only get 2 points instead of 3 for it.
Takahara tries to get to the keyway, does. Wide open look from the 3-point line is short. Well, if Japan dodged a bullet the time before, Canada definitely dodged one there. His Pennington gets it over to Koenig on the wing. She doesn't go inside.
Because they're scared.
Yeah. Hall has it, kills her dribble. Brown goes back to her, takes the ball screen. And that's a little bit too much of a hard show. And that will put Japan into the penalty, but with the way Canada shoot the free throw, that might not be a bad thing.
You know, and that's something that, you know, these coaches know. Japan, their coaching staff, they know that Canada is not strong at shooting the free throw in this. So they're always going to stay in this game if they have to put Canada on the line. If Canada continues their woes from the free throw line, it'll be a game.
Koenig outside the 3-point line will take the ball screen. It's gone nowhere so far, but they're going to leave. There's a whistle away from the ball and another offensive foul called. It looked very, very indecisive.
Was that another moving screen? I mean, Koenig was actually wide open, to tell you the truth, coming off
Could have
that
shot the
second
ball
screen.
easily,
Yeah, and we've seen her knock down those kind of shots in this tournament, so I'm a little confused why, after making two, I know she missed that one, her most recent, but...
Takahara will take the ball screen. A little hesitation, comes back on the reposition. Has the ball knocked away, Japan will retain it with 9 on the possession.
That was a, you know, Koenig was beat there, but she did a good job of staying with the ball and just getting a hand on it. Well, she might have got away with a little bit of a arm touch there.
They take the 3, a little rush, and it looked a little rush, caught nothing. 4:45 to go in the bronze medal game, and Canada have it by 6. Both coaches are showing there's an amazing positivity coming out of both coaches given the circumstance of the game, and both teams are reflecting that the way they're playing this game. Pennington lines up the 3, is short, and somehow it's quite a great effort by Shubaya, just because that looked all for the world as though Koenig was going to grab the rebound.
Yeah, it did, and you know, Canada got lucky. And if there's one part of Pennington's game she needs to work on, it is her outside shooting, because you've seen teams go under the screen on her. And she is aggressive, she's fast, she can pass, she can get into the key, but she's going to have to develop that outside game of hers.
Bishata moves it on. Takahara. Hard show. Now she turns the corner. Gets in the lane, blows the layup, and the ball will stay with Canada. That's just a great effort by Akaho.
Again, we talked about Canada's effort on the offensive rebounds, and same thing down on the other end. They know right now, every possession counts, and you got to give yourself second possessions on the offensive end, and that's what both these teams are doing.
Well, Canada take the timeout.
1 point, but with ace in it.
Let's take a listen to Coach Clark.
So Letitia, you're here. We got it. Alyssa's here. Ace is here. Shayna has the ball. We down screen to get ace. Okay, Shayna, you go
Ace
through. Letitia's out. We go into Haley, and we're point from there. You're curling hard. Okay. Defensively, we have to shock and trust that there's help behind us. They're setting the screen right now. We're just showing their hesitation.
My Japanese isn't up to interpreting, but the one stat that jumps out is 2 from 13 from the 3-point line for Japan.
Yeah.
They made one early.
That's uncharacteristic for Japan, right? That's not what
And maybe end of a tournament stat, whatever it is, but they can't go away from what they do. They're doing a great job attacking closeouts, but they've got to make some shots.
Yeah, and you know, we heard Coach Clark for Canada talk about Japan. They're setting screens and they're just turning the corner. So I think her saying we got a shock is her telling her post defenders to, hey, you got to hard hedge a little bit more. Because we can't let Japan penetrate, because when Japan penetrates, they're going to make the right pass and they're going to knock down the shot.
Well, Takahara gets into mid-range, knocks it down for 2. A little bit too easy.
How many times have we seen Japan come out of a timeout and execute the play beautifully?
4-point game. Bronze medal at stake. Brown out top. Well, they find Amiri, puts it on the floor, tries to step through and runs through people. Fortunately, it's going to come off. Well, it probably came off the head of Malui.
That was just a good job on Japan's part defensively, knowing, you know, she's going to want to try and penetrate and get to the basket, and she kind of ran into 3 players there.
Well, one thing they can't do is forget where Koenig is. She comes through the baseline, she gets it, feet set, lines it up. A great box out. That's an effort on the glass. Akaho has been tremendous at both ends on the glass. Kicks it. Takahara for 2 is no good. And that is a rebound. Malui hits the floor. Everybody hits the floor. The ball goes to Canada. 3-17 and 4 points.
There point to the Japan ball, and then the ref was right beside her, not even a meter away, kind of said, no, I saw it as well. It's Canada ball.
Well, there's the replay of the mid-range from Takahara. 4-point game. Pellington breaks the defense, goes up in the lane for the floater, gets her own rebound. Now she's got to recycle and does. Koenig goes down low. Brown steps back for the 2 and throws an air ball. And Japan now have numbers. Great effort getting back by Jerome.
And you have to think a little bit of time and score here if you're Canada. I know you're only up 4, but I kind of question those last 2 shots. You know, I know Pennington, her skill set right now is getting to the basket, and we've seen her make, that was a good post pass.
It's an excellent post pass.
Good help side. I don't really think that was a foul. It might have been. We'll see here.
It's a foul. Because
she did, because she came her and she went into her and her hands kind of came down. I think if she had just jumped straight up, but then guess who was there for the offensive rebound for an easy putback? So yeah, what I was saying was time and score. You know, go to what's working. And I think Brown taking that baseline shot, there was still about 9 seconds left on that possession. Pennington, okay, your penetration was all right, but you need to make those, plain and simple. Or you need to run an offense, use the clock, because the clock is your advantage. Hey, did we just see Canada go 100% from the free throw line?
That's not very often. Brown makes 2 from 2, 5, it's a 6-point game, 2 possession game. Still a long time to go. Akaho. They look back door.
Japan, you don't want to panic. You want to get an easy basket.
Oh, poor decision because there was so much pressure. And Pennington should just walk this down.
Exactly. What we were talking about, time and score. I know it's only 2 possessions still, but run a play, go to what works, run hard.
Well, they're going to get a 14-second reset, so they'll get another 6 seconds. Nice decision to get here to the block. And Japan will take the timeout with Canada in the half court on the sideline. It's almost a free out of bounds.
So I imagine Japan are going to try and set something up here on defense. You know, maybe it's a zone trap type of a thing. You need to play with a little bit of anxiousness right now if you're Japan. You need to force a turnover, you need to force a tough shot, maybe a quick shot, an uncomfortable shot for Canada, and then you need to get the ball and go.
Well, they've got so much success out of ball movement and penetration. And that last time they stayed on the same side of the floor, and in the end they shot the ball over a lot of traffic.
I want to keep running point.
It's very, very hard to be able to execute at this point of the game, but that's going to be the bronze medal.
Yeah, and you know, look at these leaders for Canada.
They're
actually, both of those players came off the bench today.
Okay, we go into Haley, they're starting to try and
about the depth that Canada has, the trust that Canada has in their bench players as well.
Well, we've talked about their free throws the whole time. They've made their last 5 free throws, and they're up by 6. So if they'd have stuck to their normal, they'd have been up by 3. So as we've always said, end of game stats, you can almost throw them out the window.
And you know, we talked about this. I said free throw shooting for Canada has been their Achilles heel, and you would hate to see a team lose because of their free throw shooting. And guess what? I hope I'm not jinxing them, but they're 5 for 6 right now. I mean, we haven't seen that yet in this tournament. Do I think they're a 50% free throw shooting team? Absolutely not. They had a bad tournament from the free throw line.
Brown is going to have that jump ball held, and the possession arrow stays with Canada, quite fortunately.
That is definitely not what Coach Clark drew up.
Brown, apart from the free throw situation, hasn't really made the contribution that you're expecting. And she was a little asleep there, and you can't be asleep. Amy here will move it on. Koenig looks inside, great defensive effort.
And that's what Japan needs to do. They need to go for, might have got away with a little bit of trouble there.
Definitely.
They need to go for steals. They need to, you know what, there's no need to panic right now. Just get a good, easy basket.
Akaho, they need an extra pass. Somehow they managed to get it on the inside. They go for the pass. And why someone who's actually scored all of her 13 points in this period, maybe just put it up.
Right? Absolutely. I mean, you know, she's had a second half that most people want to have a whole game about. And if you're Japan, you want to see your best scorer in this second half go up with that.
Mushita sits, and Kasagi sits, comes in with a 1:43 to go, 6-point game. No one has a bronze medal around their neck yet. Canada have a 2-possession lead. Hall will bring it. It's amazing the amount of touches that the 16-year-old gets in this situation.
And you know, her dribbling out there is probably not what you really want.
Well, Brown again is short.
Oh, look at that.
What a board. Goes back up, is fouled.
I mean, that's a huge offensive rebound for a 16-year-old.
Yeah, but you've got to love the fact that, hey, it's a bronze medal game, but she doesn't care. You know, it's like, I'll handle it. I'll come and get it. All my teammates are over here somewhere. They're like almost not coming back to, I'll take it. And she looked after it. She handed it off, and then she just went hard to the glass. And now she's got to make the throws. And this is probably the worst place for her to be at the moment.
And the problem is, they know how badly they have shot from the free throw line in this tournament. So even though they've shot well today, that sticks. Like, free throw shooting is mental. And that, you know, they're thinking about that. Like, oh my gosh, we have shot horribly all tournament. You're thinking about it. I guarantee they're thinking about it when they go to the free throw line right now.
Well, she has a double-double, though. There's, I mean, here, and she made 1 from 2. It's a 7-point game, and the relevance being it's now a 3-possession game. And that's a huge difference, especially with a team like Japan, who will take that early shot. Almost certainly going to come up and play here, because they've come up with a well-executed play every time. Canada, do you throw a little zone in just to give them a different look, or do you just trust your defense?
Japan are a great three-point shooting team. We haven't seen it this game, I know that, but you know, you play zone, and typically that's what you're giving up, right?
Or you just show zone and then just match up as it comes in.
Pass or second pass, you match up.
Only because they are literally 100% coming out of timeouts of getting scores. Just show them a different look, but hey, your defense has kept them to 55. Why change it?
Exactly.
And make sure we get traffic. At this end, we're in
Well, the 16-year-old leads the scorers for Canada, also has 10 boards.
Don't use the first one.
If you're watching this, you're seeing a player you are going to see so much more of. Hopefully for, well, let's go there and say 20 years perhaps, let's hope. Sideline possession.
And you know, if you're Japan, you want a good shot, a quick shot, but not a forced shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they go for the flare and get it open in the corner.
And that's a good shot in my opinion.
Yeah, for them it is. And they come up with a... Oh, they stepped on the sideline.
I mean, Koenig needs to know that, hey, you know what? You can't put the ball on the ground casually. Japan needs the ball right now. They need possessions.
Well, Canada are going to take a timeout. Japan have taken all 3 of theirs. Canada still have 2 to use. This will be the first of those. Probably a good idea to advance it. And this is going to be one of those things that's very easy to say, and you know how difficult it is. All Canada have to do is come towards the ball and catch it. And then they should be fine. But they've not been able to do that for the last 2 or 3 possessions.
No,
So
they haven't. I mean, you know, we saw them go into Haley Brown. That was not the out of bounds that they wanted to run. I guarantee you that. And Japan forced the jump ball.
And whoever else. They will say Haley, will say Letitia's right here.
You know.
Okay,
do you can kind of almost foul any one of the Canadians right now, because none of them are shooting well.
Well, I was going to say, do you put your best free throw shooters on the game? Well, I don't know who their best free throw shooters are. So.
I have no idea who it is.
Well, with 1:10 to go in the bronze medal game, this is by no means over. Japan have a way with their defense that you would not put a steal past them here. But then again, if they try and steal and foul, Canada still have that little concern on the free throw line. It's definitely worth the risk if you're Japan. So Koenig looks like she's going to bring the ball in.
And she might be one of their best free throw shooters. So, you know, typically a good three-point shooter is a good... Okay, so now they seem a little confused, which I'm not sure. Oh.
Well, Brown is the inbound option that Clark called. They're going to foul her.
Foul is called number 12, Mauli. Personal foul number 4 to the line, shooting 2, Haley Brown.
Well, she makes the first.
And, you know,
coming into this, she was 46%.
But, you know, there's... Jerome's 78%.
Well, she's 46% coming in. She hasn't missed tonight. So
this is what I'm saying. Their free throw, like you said, stats go out the window. in a game like this because it's not showing the true way some teams play.
Well, Hall is fouled after coming down with the rebound. Hall's going to have to take that long walk. And Japan didn't take a great one.
And you know,
well, Hall's
Japan have to foul. It's what they have to do right now.
Well, Hall's under 60% for the competition. She's one of the better Canadian free throw shooters statistically. And she drags it off the front of the ring.
That was well short.
That looked like bronze medal legs, I think I'd call that. Just, she was feeding the medal. Lifts the second one and gets the two. It makes it a double-digit lead. Takahara.
Away because Japan is fast and they know how to make threes.
Well, the three's away and it's going to be short, but they get the offensive rebound and miss the putback. Nakaho stays with it, goes to the reverse layup, gets the two. And now Japan up the floor, 8-point game. They're surely going to steal or foul here right now. And they still, and it took too long. 3 or 4 seconds ticked off before Hall was fouled. She's just got 1 from 2, but the second one, trying to make you Canadian fans feel good, looked very, very confident. She was down low, stroked it, and she's gonna remember that one, not the first one.
Yeah, let's hope so.
8-point game. Okay, she remembered the first one. She needs a sighter. That's what she needs.
Oh, I mean, again, front rim. Like you said, bronze medal legs, maybe.
She just about gets the roll on the second.
The basketball gods were there for that
Japan come out in credit. 2 for 1 there. He puts it on the floor, fires up, the three is way short. They get another offensive rebound. Takahara for 3. It's long, offensive rebound for Japan. The clock ticks away, it's their biggest enemy at the moment. Takahara for 3, lines it up, knocks it down. 6-point game, makes it a 2-possession game with 15.6 to go. Canada take the timeout, and where there's still time, there's hope.
There is, and it's a 2-possession game, but guess what? Canada's not a great free throw shooting team. So let's say they do go 1 for 2. I mean, you can't give up 3 offensive rebounds if you're Canada. Guys, get on the floor. Get the rebound. All they needed was to get 1 rebound there, and they didn't. And Japan made them suffer by knocking down a 3.
This is those moments when you know you're under 19s, because in a senior team, the senior team knows I'm going to rebound this. No one's getting to the glass. But there were people trying to chase basketballs, and when it became chase, the Japanese had that quickness that you talked about.
They had the quickness in their legs and in their hands.
6-point game. It's exactly the type. We knew this was going to be close because of the way these teams counteract each other. Japan have to come up with 2 more defensive stops, and they're right back in it. 15.6 seconds is more than enough time. Canada are now timed out. They've used all 3. So we're still here in a score, and Coach Clark is going to have to trust her players. Do they get it in? They go with Cunning again to inbound. And you're right, one of their better shooters, you'd have thought they'd love her to catch the first pass.
Yeah, you know, maybe they trust her inbound in the decision-making and her passing, though.
Well, they get it to Hall, takes a while. And they smartly just block, which means it won't be an unsportsmanlike foul. Less than 2 seconds ticked off, and Hall goes back to the free throw line.
You know, Koenig's free throw percentage is 50s.
Yeah, but her NCAA free throw percentage is much better than that.
You know, her three-point percentage is almost as good as her free throw.
Hall to try and ice this, and the front of the rim and the first of these free throws is not looking. There are a lot of Canadian fans in this gym just literally holding their breath.
But you know, if I'm Canada right now, I might foul. I might slow Japan down and foul, because you have to foul the gift.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You don't want this. You don't want a 3.
And here comes that 3. They turn it down. They take it deep, deep. 3 is no good. And that, I was just about to say, they've almost secured it. Only 2.7 seconds to go. The bronze medal is almost around that Canadian team's neck. Japan will try and inbound. The three is gone, and he's short. And Canada, for the first time in their history, have secured a bronze medal at the Under-19 World Cup. Coach Hajiwara, as you would expect with a class and the history that she has, congratulates both the Canadian coaches and the officials on the job they've done. But Canada make history. Their under-19 men win a gold, their under-19 women win the bronze. It's good times for Canada basketball.
It really is. You know, talk about how much they have invested, and they've invested at the grassroots level in this young, on the men's and the women's side. This generation have experienced so much more than the older players for Canada have. And it's paying dividends. Look at this. We have a bronze medal on the women's side, a gold medal on the men's side at under 19 World Championships. I mean, it just shows that hard work pays off.
Wow, those numbers, 46 and 35. And even though it's 68, it's still a lot better than 51 from the free throw line. And Japan did a great job competing on the glass because they really did close down that number. And I know the rebounds at the end of the game helped them a lot. But Japanese basketball has left a lot of fond memories here in Udine. And with their seniors winning the Asia Cup as well, things are looking good going into Tokyo. 10 steals for this Japanese team. You've got to say to Canada, great job second half though. They only gave up one steal to this Japanese team in that second half.
They did. You know, they still had a couple turnovers, but steals are different because it's faster.
What can you say about her? Double-double in a double-double in a bronze medal game.
Of Canada basketball is going to be her. It really is. I mean, she's 16 years old and she led this team with a double-double. You can't really ask for much more. And she was clutch. She had that huge offensive rebound, went to the free throw line. I mean, defensively, I thought she did a great job against Mauli. You know, she thought both these teams fought through fatigue today.
Well, these highlights are only going to show you a little bit of the pressure, a little glimpse of what a game it was. The Canadian girls are on the floor celebrating with the flags while you're watching these highlights. And all these highlights will tell you is that both teams played hard, both teams put in a performance, and both teams have ended this competition on a real high, unless you just look at the result. The result for Japan is obviously disappointing, but what a step forward. They have beaten Australia in this competition. They have beaten Spain at this competition. They're on the right direction. If there's one country that's definitely in the right direction, it's Canada.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. I mean, you know, we talked about Canada and how much they've done and how they've just slowly chipped away and got better. Japan has done the exact same thing. Their senior women just came away with another gold medal from now the Asia Cup, where Australia is also involved in. I mean, they beat Australia by 1 point. So this team is gearing up for an Olympics in 2020. And some of these young women here today are going to be playing on that Olympic team.
Well, absolutely. Number of 18, 19-year-old players are going to be 21, 22. And they're going to add to what's already a successful senior team.
You know, we saw Emi here there with that unorthodox layup, but she finished it. And she was just aggressive. I mean, when they needed a basket, they went to her, and she was able to create and get that 2 points for them.
Well, that's just been a tremendous bronze medal game, but that's just the appetizer. We've got a gold medal game coming up with the USA and Russia. And, well, so much history, so much tradition in those two programs and this competition. That's going to be something to look forward to. Great performance by Canada. The bronze medalists at the Under-19 World Cup. We'll be back shortly for the gold medal game. And we will see you then. For the moment, and for a very short period of time, we'll say goodbye for today, and we'll see you shortly